Genesis 49, verse 19. We just read that earlier. That family didn't want nothing? They was good? Okay, Lord's will. Genesis 49, verse 19.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 19. Gad.
Who?
Gad.
So I know here in America and elsewhere, yes, you guys divided yourselves up into different tribes. Nevertheless, God said you are the tribe of Gad. Your forefather was Gad. That's who all the indigenous in America stem from. Well, at least here in North America, stem from Gad. That's your forefather. So what'd he say?
Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
You know that troop that overcame the Gadites? It's the U.S. Cavalry.
No.
George Washington, yes, he kicked it off. He was the village destroyer. But I got a book at home about Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was the one that fought and told Congress that we're just going to annihilate all the Indians. Because Congress was trying to make deals with Gad, try to give you certain land. Like, I'm not too familiar with the lands on the West Coast. I know y'all cool, you was out there in Oregon. I'm not too familiar, but I know every state has land that they put aside for indigenous people. Same thing in Oregon. I just don't know the land or the name of it because we was out there, right? But everywhere. Andrew Jackson said, you know what? To hell with that. He almost disobeyed Congress to annihilate Gad and Reuben. Go ahead.
Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
And right around that time, they invented the Gatling gun. Do you know what the Gatling gun is? The gun that they spin and it shoots out bullets simultaneously. It doesn't stop. It's like, that's what they did. Come on.
But he shall overcome.
And the last battle they had was in the late 1800s at Wounded Knee. Well, that was the last battle that they had against the native tribes.
But he shall overcome at the last.
God promised that you and your people are going to overcome at the last. No matter what you see going on today, all this right here is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. That's what's going to happen. World War III, the white race is going to nuke each other, just like they did in World War I and World War II, how they fought against each other. God is going to cause them to fight against each other, and guess what? We're going to be delivered out of here. That's what's going to happen. The European Union, NATO, even if in 15, 20 years they're not called NATO, that European conglomerate, they're going to turn on America and they're going to nuke America.
No.
You know why? Because Europe does not agree with the Israeli genocide that's going on against the Palestinians. Against those, I don't want to say they're indigenous because they're not, but they was there first, against those people. The rest of the world does not agree with what Israel is doing. Only one country agrees, and guess who that is? The United States of America. That's going to be the deciding factor to turn all the countries against the U.S., and they're going to take down this place. That's the prophecy. Read on. Is that it on that?
Yeah, that was it on that.
Read that again.
Verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Give me that in about Reuben. Where's Reuben at? Come on. Start at 13. We're going to read down. Start at 13.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 13. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea.
You know, what's the haven of the sea in the Americas? Do you know? You ever heard of the Panama Canal? Those people in Central America are Zebulun. Most of the migrants coming in America are the tribe of Zebulun. We know who our people are. But you guys just have to sit down and study. Come on, read on.
And he shall be a haven of ships.
Panama Canal is a haven of ships. A lot of imports that Texas receives through the port of Houston, it comes through the Panama Canal. A lot of that. And it comes from the Panama Canal throughout the whole world. Read.
And his border shall be unto Zidon.
And his border shall be to Zidon. Because remember how I didn't want to call the Palestinians indigenous? Because we was there first. That's why. We was there first because we are the Israelites. Before we went to America, we was over there. And that's where your people came from. Read on.
Issachar is a strong ass.
Issachar are the so-called Mexicans. God compares them to a strong ass. You know, a strong donkey, it works all day. Issachar Mexicans work the longest hours of any country in the world. That's a documented fact. They work in the morning and they have what they call a siesta. They rest and they work into the evening. That's a documented fact that they work the longest hours of any people on the earth. Come on.
Issachar is a strong ass, crouching down between two burdens.
And their landmass is between two burdens. You got North America in the north, and you got South America in the south. Mexico is right there in the middle. Come on.
And he saw that rest was good.
And he saw that rest was good. That's why it's called a siesta, rest. Do other Latin countries have siestas? Sure. But they're famous for it. Everybody is known. When we think of siesta, we think of Issachar. Come on.
And the land that was pleasant and bowed his shoulder to
Mexico is pleasant. It's a very pleasant land. Come on.
And bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute.
Because they were conquered as well. And that is not just Gad. Issachar was conquered. Zebulon was conquered. And your brothers, Judah, so-called black Americans, was also conquered. Come on.
Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel.
Now, give me that in 2nd Ezra chapter 14. I'm going to show you how you guys got here to America. Because it's, I forgot the brother's name. Is it either Sitting Bull or one of the leaders of Gad? He brought an Assyrian coin to one of the Jesuit priests. An Assyrian coin. What is so-called Native American Indian doing with an Assyrian coin that was in his family for generations? Assyria was an empire in the so-called Middle East. That's where you guys came from. You guys came from that area and went to here eventually. I'm going to show you that. Come on.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 39. And whereas thou sawest he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him.
You are the peaceable multitude.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of OC the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the water, and so came they into another land.
So now, we originally were in Palestine. That is our land, the 12 tribes of Israel. The Arabs over there are not the indigenous. We are the indigenous. The Arabs, they sold us out the land, and they've been in that land until the Israeli government is doing what they're doing to them in the land. That's historically what happened. But back then, we were taken out of that land and brought to Assyria, primarily the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes. Right here, you have 9. Starting with Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Zebulun, Gad, Reuben, Asher, Issachar, Naphtali. It used to be Dan as well, but Dan got absorbed into the rest of the tribes. We're talking about right here, Ephraim on down. This is these tribes. Come on.
But they took this counsel amongst themselves.
You guys took this counsel amongst yourselves during the time of Cyrus the Great. And this is historically fact what we're talking about. Cyrus the Great, the king of Persia, he made a proclamation freeing everybody. He freed all the captives that the Assyrians and the Babylonians took. That's why Donald Trump, he tried to call himself, he compared himself to Cyrus, because what he was doing, he was writing edicts freeing everybody, giving money to everybody. Cyrus already did that. So when he freed everybody, you guys took counsel among yourselves and did what?
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
You guys left the multitude of the heathen
and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Read this attributes of this country again. Read that again.
And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
You know what further country that is? The 4th part of the world. Hold that. Give me Revelation chapter 6, where it says the 4th part. Because we already knew about Africa. We already knew about Europe. We already knew about Asia. But the 4th part is the Americas. That's where your people went. Come on. Revelation 6 about he got power over the 4th part. Come on. Yep.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death.
So that's the name of the white man that God gave him, Esau, Death. He would be death with or without the Bible in his hand. The Bible did not make him death. He stole the Bible, lied about it, and lied to the indigenous people about what the Bible says. But he still is death. Come on.
And hell.
And he's still hell. Wherever he goes, he caused hellish conditions. That's why over there in the Middle East, them people didn't want them in the Middle East, because now America's ways are in the Middle East now. You got people in Afghanistan, now they're becoming homosexuals. Now they're prostitutes. Now they're drug users because the U.S. soldiers showing them that way of life. Other people do not want America in their country because it makes hellish conditions, especially for the indigenous. Come on.
And hell followed with him.
And wherever he goes, hell is going to follow with him.
And power was given unto them.
God gave this man power for a short amount of time.
Over the fourth part of the earth.
That's the land where never mankind dwelt. The fourth part of the earth. That's where you guys ran to. You guys left where everybody else was at, and you went from Cape Hope all the way to Brazil and went north. That's documented fact. I got a book at home where it says the Hopi Indians in Arizona, they knew they came from Jerusalem. Reuben in Florida, they knew that they came from the east. Most of the native elders who really know their history will tell you that they migrated from the east and came through the south and migrated north. You guys did not come through no Bering Straits in Alaska.
Right.
That line right there burns me up because I'm from the north. When it gets cold, when it gets in the negatives, believe me, nobody's outside. Not no elders, not no babies. They not outside. People who are strong and get up and work don't go outside because they die in that level of cold. That's insulting our intelligence. Do you mean to tell me millions of people migrated from Russia through Alaska through a ice, whatever it's called? Come on, that's foolishness, man. That's foolishness. And me particularly, that you can't run that by me. Maybe somebody who never been in no cold weather, but that don't make no sense. Come on. In February 2021, what happened? How many people died? Every winter when the power goes up, what happens? You mean to tell me in 2024 with iPhones in our hands, we can't withstand the winter, but millions of people went through an ice bridge? That's laughable.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, his word, his word.